Japanese couldn't believe one U.S. destroyer-killer sub sank 5 ships in just 4 days. The full true story of USS Harder SS-257. The Silent Service, America's Underwater Warriors. During the Second World War, while massive fleets clashed across the Pacific, an invisible war raged beneath the waves. It was fought by a small, elite force known as the Silent Service, the United States Navy's submarine fleet. Although they represented less than 2% of the U.S. Navy's personnel, these submarines were responsible for destroying more than half of Japan's merchant fleet and a third of its warships. They were the unseen dagger that strangled Japan's wartime economy, sinking tankers, troop ships, and supply vessels across the Pacific. Among these deadly boats, one stood out for her daring and unmatched record against enemy destroyers, the USS Harder SS-257. A new type of warship, USS Harder, joins the fight. USS Harder was a Gato-class submarine built at the Electric Boat Company in Groton, Connecticut. She was commissioned on December 2, 1942, and named after the Harder, a small, swift fish known for its fighting spirit. It was a fitting name for what would become one of the most audacious submarines of the war. She displaced 1,500 tons, stretched 311 feet long, and carried a crew of about 80 men. Her armament: 10 torpedo tubes, 6 forward, 4 aft, 1 3-inch deck gun, and several .50 caliber machine guns. But her most important weapon wasn't made of steel, it was her commander. Commander Samuel D. Dealey, the destroyer killer. Samuel David Dealey, born in Dallas, Texas in 1906, was quiet, humble, and deeply religious. Yet behind his calm demeanor lay one of the most fearless submarine captains in history. A U.S. Naval Academy graduate, Dealey served aboard several surface ships before transferring to submarines. When he took command of USS Harder in 1943, he quickly built a reputation for aggressive tactics and almost supernatural luck. He treated his crew like family, firm but fair, and inspired total confidence. Dealey had one obsession: taking the fight directly to the enemy, no matter the odds. Harder's early patrols: learning to hunt. Harder's first patrol in June 1943 took her into the enemy-held waters of the South China Sea. She damaged several ships but had limited success. Dealey was frustrated, not by failure, but by missed opportunities. He learned fast. On her second patrol, Harder struck a small Japanese convoy and sank 2 merchant ships, proving her potential. By the third patrol, the crew had developed into one of the most coordinated teams in the fleet. Dealey began to take bolder risks, attacking in shallow water, surfacing at night within sight of enemy destroyers, and using radar and periscope tactics that others thought suicidal. By early 1944, he had become one of the Navy's most experienced sub-commanders. But it was the 5th War Patrol that would make his name immortal.
May 1944, USS Harder left Fremantle, Australia, bound for the southern Philippines. Her orders? Conduct reconnaissance near Tawi-Tawi, where Japanese Admiral Ozawa's powerful carrier fleet was assembling for what would soon become the Battle of the Philippine Sea. It was a dangerous mission: shallow waters, heavy patrols, and constant air surveillance. Most commanders would have kept to deep water, avoiding destroyer screens. Dealey did the opposite. May 22, 1944, the first kill. At dawn on May 22 near Tawi-Tawi, Harder's radar picked up 2 destroyers on patrol. They were searching for submarines, a deadly game of cat and mouse. Instead of fleeing, Dealey turned toward them. He maneuvered silently into firing position, barely 1,000 yards from the lead ship, the destroyer Minazuki. He fired 3 torpedoes. Seconds later, a thunderous explosion tore through the Japanese ship. Minazuki broke in two and sank in less than a minute. Harder dove deep to escape the counterattack. Depth charges pounded the water above, but none hit home. One destroyer down.
May 23rd. The destroyer killer strikes again. The next morning, another destroyer appeared, Hayanami, sweeping for submarines. Harder was still in the same dangerous waters, but Dealey refused to leave. He closed in and fired a spread of torpedoes. Hayanami was hit amidships and exploded. 2 destroyers sunk in 2 days, something no other sub-commander had ever achieved. The Japanese were stunned. The waters around Tawi, once thought secure, were now haunted by an unseen predator. May 24th. The third engagement. As if 2 victories weren't enough, Harder soon encountered another destroyer, Hibiki, patrolling near the Subutu Passage. Dealey fired a salvo. 1 torpedo hit, crippling the destroyer. Hibiki limped away toward port, out of action for the rest of the war. Harder had now destroyed or disabled 3 destroyers in just 3 days. The crew began calling their captain the destroyer killer. May 26th. Coordinated attack with USS Redfin. On May 26th, Harder met another U.S. sub, USS Redfin, commanded by Lieutenant Commander Roy Benson. The 2 captains decided to coordinate attacks in the narrow Subutu Passage. Soon they sighted another enemy ship, the destroyer Asanagi. Dealey fired from long range. 3 torpedoes ran true, slamming into Asanagi's hull. The destroyer sank within minutes. 4 destroyers down, and the Japanese still hadn't located Harder. May 27th. The 5th kill. The next morning, sonar picked up another destroyer approaching, Kazagumo. Dealey moved to intercept, even though the sub's batteries were low and torpedoes nearly spent. He fired from a dangerously close range. All torpedoes hit. Kazagumo went down in flames. 5 enemy destroyers destroyed or crippled in just 4 days. No other submarine in naval history, before or since, has ever achieved such a record.
Shock in the Imperial Japanese Navy. The Japanese Navy went into panic mode. Their destroyers were supposed to hunt submarines, not fall victim to them. Now, rumors spread that an American Phantom submarine was operating in the area. Invincible, invisible, unstoppable. Reports from Twa described a single submarine attacking every destroyer that tried to find it. Admiral Ozawa's fleet was delayed, fearing Harder was waiting outside the harbor. The delay indirectly helped the U.S. during the upcoming Battle of the Philippine Sea, where Japan's carrier force was annihilated. In that sense, Harder's patrol didn't just sink ships, it may have changed the course of the Pacific War. Return to Fremantle, a hero's welcome. When Harder returned to port in June 1944, the crew was exhausted but jubilant. Dealey was greeted as a national hero. He was awarded the Navy Cross and later the Medal of Honor. Newspapers called him the destroyer killer of the Pacific. But the victory celebrations would be short-lived. The 6th and final patrol, August 1944. In August, USS Harder set out again, this time on her 6th war patrol, alongside the submarines USS Harder and USS Hake. Their mission? Patrol the Luzon coast, attack Japanese shipping, and support Allied landings. On August 24th, Harder attacked a Japanese escort ship, damaging it. 2 days later, the group came under counterattack by enemy destroyers. Harder dove deep, but the enemy had her range. A Japanese mine layer, CD-22, dropped a precise pattern of depth charges. A massive underwater explosion followed. USS Hake's sonar operator reported hearing a heavy explosion followed by braking noises and air escaping. Harder never answered again. She was gone, taking all 79 crewmen with her. The legacy of USS Harder. When the news reached Fremantle, it devastated the submarine community. Harder was more than just another boat. She was a symbol of courage, leadership, and raw fighting spirit. Commander Samuel Dealey's Medal of Honor citation praised his conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty. Harder's record stood as one of the most extraordinary in naval history. 6 war patrols, 20 confirmed enemy ships sunk, 5 destroyers in 4 days, countless others damaged or delayed. Her name became legend in the submarine force. Remembering the crew. The 79 sailors aboard USS Harder never came home. Their sacrifice is remembered at the Submarine Memorial in Pearl Harbor and on the Wall of Honor in Groton, Connecticut. Every year, U.S. Navy submariners honor the Harder and her crew during memorial services. Their motto lives on: hit hard, hit fast, hit often.
What made Harder so unique? Several factors contributed to Harder's legendary success. Dealey's leadership, calm under pressure, willing to attack targets most commanders avoided. Crew training, every man knew his role. They operated like a single organism. Aggression and timing. Dealey often attacked at night or in shallow waters, maximizing surprise. Luck and faith. Dealey carried a small Bible on every patrol. Crewmen swore his faith kept them alive. Harder's story was not just about killing ships, it was about what courage can achieve when fear is ignored. The destroyer killer lives on. Today, modern U.S. Navy submarines still draw inspiration from the Harder. A new USS Harder, SS 568, served during the Cold War, proudly carrying the name. Her crest bore a destroyer silhouette with 5 torpedoes below, honoring the original's unmatched streak. Even Japanese naval historians, decades later, expressed respect for Dealey's courage, calling him a warrior of rare audacity. Conclusion: the legend beneath the waves. In just 2 years of service, USS Harder changed the course of submarine warfare. Her story combines strategy, bravery, and sacrifice, a reminder that even in the darkest depths, courage shines brightest. Samuel Dealey and his crew entered history not because they sought glory, but because they refused to run when the enemy approached. Their courage shook the Imperial Japanese Navy and inspired generations of submariners to come. The ocean still holds their final resting place, silent but undefeated.
USS Harder, SS 257, Summary Table. Category: Details. Type: Gato-class submarine. Commissioned December 2, 1942. Commander: Samuel D. Dealey. Crew: 79 men. Total ships sunk: 20. Confirmed. Famous patrol: 5th Patrol, May 22 to 27, 1944. Notable feat: sank 5 destroyers in 4 days. Final fate: sunk by depth charges, August 24, 1944. Awards: Medal of Honor, Dealey, Presidential Unit Citation.